All right, I'm over here at the house that flooded. I want to give you guys an update on the process. The flood insurance process is messier than I expected. I should have seen this coming. I'm Sam, and this is the Living in Tampa channel, where we make these videos for you about what it's like to live and move to Tampa. We're also a team of realtors, and we'd love to be your real estate choice in the area. Give us a call, text, or email anytime. We'd love to hop on a Zoom call and process your move and see how we can best help. So call, text, or email anytime. Okay, so you saw this other video about my house flooding. And I promise I'm not just going to milk this for content, but I probably am a little bit, let's be honest. Because I'm learning so much about flooding and about flood insurance. So the flood insurance policy that I had was backed by FEMA. It's the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP. It's a big thing. And these programs just make it a little bit more affordable. Technically, mine was still $4,600 a year, and it was paid just 2 days before the flood. So it's worth it for this time. So just a reminder, that flood, Hurricane Idalia, was on August 30th. There was about 18 inches of water in my house in the part that drops down. So the living room drops down a little bit, the water level was highest in there. The rest of the area, there was about 8 inches. My insurance broker told me recently that typically if there's 4 inches of water in a house, it's usually about $100,000 claim or more. So we definitely had more than 4 inches, so we'll see. But in that last video, I kind of told you what was happening. We had the insurance adjuster out. They, do all their work, write up this report. They came back and asked me some questions. They wanted to talk to my water mitigation company again to make sure that their invoice was the right format for like a FEMA-backed insurance policy. They've been very helpful for the most part. But then they started asking questions. So technically, I wasn't living in the house when it flooded. It was under contract, it was about to sell. It was gonna close in 5 days. And that has caused them to question if it was my primary residence. If it wasn't my primary residence, then they could make the claim that I lied on my application for the insurance when it renewed 2 days before the storm. I don't think that it will end up being a problem. I've already talked to an attorney about it. Everyone seems to think it will be fine. But it's just more of a headache. And it's just nerve-wracking. Then all of a sudden the adjuster was asking me, hey, what day exactly did you move out? And he's like, I understand you moved out because it was under contract, but what day exactly did you move out? Stressful to answer a question like that. How do you answer a question like that? Is it when you started sleeping somewhere else? Is it when you got the last of your things? Is it when you started moving out or when you finished moving out? All that's kind of confusing. So that's what I talked to an attorney about. How should I answer this question? I told them based on the information I had, I understood this was the day that I got the rest of our stuff out. We were moved out. He said, okay, tell them that day and we'll see what happens. He also reassured me that, even if they deny coverage, which they have 90 days until they have to give a yes or no on the coverage. So that would be the end of November. Even at that point, he's like, if they deny, it should be pretty easy to defend. But in light of all that, no matter what happens with that, I still have to repair this house and get it on the market and get it sold because I have a lot of equity in it and we already moved and bought another house. So I want to update you guys on the process a little bit. So last video I talked about the terrazzo floors. We did get those refinished. They look really cool. Here you can see the terrazzo. This is probably the best example of it back here. Light's real bright back here. It's really consistent throughout every room, every bathroom. They'll come back and do like a final polish on those. We've already purchased appliances and cabinets and cabinet fronts. So this is maybe an unpopular option. We actually went with IKEA cabinets for the boxes and then went with a company called Semi-Handmade for the cabinet fronts and the trim around them. So you get the functionality of IKEA cabinets, but you get a lot nicer fronts. And the fronts are a lot more expensive that way, but I think they're gonna look really, really awesome. We're going very mid-century modern with this house. Even this ledge that I'm leaning against right now, this is the front door right here. Right when you come in, there's this big ledge. This is a planter. So we're gonna restore this back to put plants in it. So here's the planter when you first walk in, just like half wall. You can see the galvanized planter down below. What do you guys think about that? Should I put plants in it? Should I leave it a counter? Whenever it's like a counter kind of thing, it's kind of confusing what it is. And some people think that's a bad idea, but we're gonna make it really cool, an interesting home. It's gonna be really fun. We have all that stuff. The next step is drywall. So drywall will start next week. Everything's dry. The floors are, roughly finished. They'll come back and do a final polish. And the drywall is cut out down 2 feet around. I'll show you some clips of that. They've got to come in and clean up all the nails off of that and then put drywall up. And then they'll retexture everything to make it all match and blend really easy. So you don't have to blend the old texture and the new texture. In the midst of that, we're also gonna tear out this soffit in the kitchen to open up the kitchen a little bit more. We're not gonna tear down any walls in here, but this at least opens up above where the upper cabinets would be and makes it a little more open feeling. We're actually not gonna do upper cabinets, mostly because I hate upper cabinets. We're gonna do like a giant wall of cabinets on the other side of the kitchen and then lower cabinets around the appliances. It's going to be a pretty modern kitchen, and in a very mid-century modern feeling house. It's gonna be awesome. But we still have a lot to do. There's all these steps. So drywall will happen, then paint will happen, then cabinets and appliances, then countertops and plumbing fixtures. Then we still have to do the bathrooms too. We need new vanities. I gotta get the toilets put back in. And then we'll probably change out all the plumbing hardware to go more consistent with the style of the house. And in the midst of that, we need to hang new doors. So there's a lot to do. And all of these things cost money. I've spent about $30,000 so far, and I haven't gotten any money from the insurance company yet because the claim isn't finished. So technically they sent $15,000, but my mortgage company won't release that money to me because their name's on it too, until we get the adjuster's final report. The adjuster's final report was filed, but has to be approved by management, and then it has to go through the process with the insurance company. It's a whole thing. But a couple things I've done in the midst of this. First, I called my mortgage company and said, hey, I was hit by this hurricane. What kind of programs do you have for forbearance so that I can not make my mortgage payment for a few months because I'm spending so much money on getting this house back to working condition? They had some awesome options. They're really accommodating. Made that work for me. Not on this house. They're not accommodating on this house, but on the other house they are. Another thing I did was call 2 of my credit card companies, both Citi and Chase. Told them the situation. Hey, I'm gonna put a bunch of stuff on these credit cards. Can I have a few months with no payments? What kind of options do you have? Also, super accommodating. 2 months with no payments. Hopefully we can get some of the insurance money released before then and start to figure that out. If not, I'll call and ask for more. But if you have that available credit, then that is something you could do. They will definitely give you time if you are impacted by this kind of a storm. So one thing I've done is connect with my clients that were affected by the hurricane and offer the kind of guidance that I'm figuring out on my own. Hey, call your mortgage company and ask this, ask for the forbearance, and then ask if they'll defer those payments at the end and move them to the end of your mortgage instead of having to pay that lump sum. Some of these things, we just don't know that they exist until we go through them. And so hopefully I can provide some of this insight to you guys. One question I have for you all you can help me with. The landscaping, the yard, let's say, because it wasn't really landscaped, got pretty beat up. Do you think I should landscape it, or should I just offer a credit? Offer a $2,500 credit to the new homeowner to go toward landscaping. And that would just be a reduction in their closing costs. What do you think I should do? Also, let me know, do you need help with your flood situation? I would love to hop on a call and offer any advice of anything I've learned. Of course, I'm not an attorney, I'm not an insurance adjuster, but I'm going through this and I'd love to help you. Also, any real estate needs, we'd love to help you. Call, text, or email anytime. Thanks for coming by.